So could new forms of electronic tracking like those in Hong Kong be rolled out here in Europe to try to beat the coronavirus? Let's discuss that with Stacie Hoffmann. She's a cybersecurity expert at Oxford Information Labs, and she joins me now from London. We've been hearing from the EU. They're saying that technology is going to play a great role in trying to thwart the virus. Several EU countries have floated the idea of having an app to try and stop its spread. How would those apps work, and could they actually fit in with the EU's very strict privacy laws?
So there are a few different apps being developed at this time, and the reason why we're not taking up something from China or Hong Kong is because they wouldn't, of course, be in compliance with things like the General Data Protection Regulation. So companies like Apple and Google have been called upon by governments to look into how they could use existing technologies, things that we already use, to do some contact tracing. And one way that Apple and Google are pairing up to do that is looking at using Bluetooth instead of the GPS, so the geo-tracking that's happening in China right now.
But how are they going to ensure that enough users actually got these apps? Because I saw a report from Australia, the Prime Minister there saying that the app had to be used by 40% of people. Is this going to be similar to when Apple forced everybody to have that U2 album on their phone? Is this just going to be plugged in, or will we go to the App Store and download it ourselves?
It's looking like it will be more of the user's choice whether or not they use it. Now, that will, of course, come down to governments and nations as to whether or not they want to really push this on their citizenry to take up. But we also know that self-reporting can be much more effective, and testing as well is extremely important, and that could actually give us more specific and useful data than a tracking app, because we wouldn't be doing the really invasive privacy kind of worrying tracking that China is doing.
And Stacie, just quickly, one of the other big problems around the coronavirus is the spread of misinformation. Facebook is saying that it's going to alert users if they've been shown misinformation. Do you believe that the giant social media platform is going far enough here?
Well, I would say it's definitely a step in the right direction. So since 2016, when the various electoral campaigns happened and we know that there's disinformation circulating, people have been calling on the platforms to do more. This step by Facebook is actually going back and notifying people when they've seen misinformation, and that is something they haven't done before, and it's really critical to let people know that they've come into contact with something, because they might not have realized that before. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but there's still more that they could do. It's obvious that they're not quite quick enough at taking down content, and they're also not tracking the replicated content that comes from things like the original post. So they could also use, especially algorithms can help with that, to try and track those replications and take those down.
Stacie Hoffmann joining us there from London. Thanks very much.